Some habits are so small you'd never guess they're reshaping your brain. But quietly, day by day, they are. Here are the ones doing it right now. Most of them don't feel like habits at all. They feel like nothing. A glance at your phone. A skipped breakfast. A late scroll before bed. You barely notice them. But your brain does. Every repeated action is a vote for the kind of brain you'll have tomorrow. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, your brain physically rewiring itself around whatever you do most. The scary part is, it doesn't care whether the habit is helping or hurting you. It just builds around whatever you repeat. So today we're going to look at 7 small habits that are quietly reshaping the structure of your mind, for better or worse. Some are silently sharpening you, others are silently dulling you, and by the end you'll know exactly which ones you're feeding. The first one is the habit you probably don't even count as a habit, checking your phone within 60 seconds of waking up. It feels harmless. You just want to see the time, the weather, one message. But your brain doesn't experience it that way. When you wake, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning and self-control, is still coming online. It needs a slow, quiet ramp-up. Instead, you hand it a flood of notifications, headlines, and micro-decisions before it's fully booted. That early spike of dopamine and cortisol trains your brain to expect stimulation the moment consciousness returns. Over weeks, your baseline attention shortens. Focus feels harder. Boredom feels unbearable. The fix is small, but powerful. Give your brain the first 10 minutes of the day unplugged. Water, light, a slow breath, that's it. You're not being lazy. You're letting your prefrontal cortex wake up in charge instead of chasing dopamine from the second your eyes open. And that leads straight to the second habit, the one hiding inside your afternoon. It's the habit of never sitting still without input. Podcast in the shower, video while eating, music every time you walk. It sounds productive, it feels normal, but your brain has a hidden mode it can only enter when nothing else is playing. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network. It's the state your mind slips into when it's not chasing information, the state where memory consolidates, ideas connect, and self-understanding quietly happens. Constant input starves that network. Your brain never gets defiled a day away. That's why solutions to problems often arrive in the shower, on a walk, or right before sleep. Those are the rare moments you let your default mode network run. Try one small pocket of silence a day, a walk without headphones, a meal without a screen, 10 minutes staring out a window. Your brain will use that space to organize itself in ways forced focus never could. Which brings us to the third habit, and this one silently upgrades or downgrades your memory every single day. It's how you fall asleep. Not how long you sleep, how you enter it. If you scroll until your eyes close, your brain crashes from a state of high stimulation straight into unconsciousness. It skips the slow wind down where memories move from short-term to long-term storage. That transition is when your hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, does its most important filing work. Interrupted enough nights, and you'll notice it. Names slip, focus feels foggy, you reread the same paragraph twice. The fix isn't a perfect bedtime routine. It's just 20 quiet minutes before you sleep. Dim light, no feed, maybe a page of something slow. You're not being disciplined. You're giving your brain the runway it needs to consolidate the day. The next habit is more subtle. Most people don't realize they're doing it. It's the habit of finishing every task with a scroll. You send the email and reward yourself with the feed. You finish the workout and reward yourself with the feed. You clean the kitchen and reward yourself with the feed. It seems harmless, but you're teaching your brain that dopamine comes from the phone, not from the work. Over time, the effort itself starts to feel meaningless. Only the reward feels real. That's how motivated people slowly become people who can't start anything without a jolt of stimulation first. The counter move is small. After a task, pause, notice you finished, take a breath, then move to the next thing. You're rebuilding the link between effort and satisfaction, the loop that keeps motivation alive. And the fifth habit changes something even deeper. It changes how your brain talks to you all day. It's the habit of your inner voice. Most people never audit it. They just live inside whatever narration is running. But every internal sentence is a small dose of chemistry. Harsh self-talk keeps cortisol elevated. Kinder, more accurate self-talk keeps your prefrontal cortex online and your amygdala calm. Neuroscience consistently finds that the way you speak to yourself shapes not just your mood, but your ability to think clearly under pressure. The goal isn't fake positivity, it's precision. Instead of "I'm a mess," try "I'm tired and behind. What's the next small step?" Same situation, completely different brain state. Do that a few times a day, and slowly your default inner tone shifts. That shift touches everything else: sleep, focus, patience, decisions. Now, the sixth habit is the one people underestimate the most. It looks like nothing. It's the shape of your walk, not the exercise, the posture. When your shoulders round, your head drops, and your eyes lock on the ground or the screen, your brain reads it as low status, low safety, low energy. Cortisol edges up, awareness drops, mood follows. Change the physical signal even slightly, and the chemistry shifts with it. Chest open, eyes on the horizon, steady breath. Your brain uses your body as a sensor for how the world is going. If the body says safe and steady, the brain relaxes into clearer thinking. You don't need a workout. You need 30 seconds of upright, unhurried walking, done often enough that your nervous system starts to believe it. And this last habit might be the quietest of all, but it's the one that decides the ceiling of everything else. It's what you let your mind rehearse when nothing is happening. Waiting in line, sitting in traffic, lying in bed before sleep. Most people default to worry, replay, or scroll. All three train the same circuits: vigilance, comparison, threat scanning. Repeat that enough, and those pathways become the strongest roads in your brain. Your default state becomes low-grade tension. But those same idle moments are the most powerful rewiring windows you have. Because the brain wires around whatever you rehearse when you're not trying. You don't need meditation. You just need a small redirect. One slow breath. One thing you can see, one thing you're grateful is still working in your life. Do that in the cracks of the day, and your baseline shifts. Not through effort, but through repetition. So here's what actually connects these 7. None of them look important on their own. None of them will change your life in a week. But your brain isn't listening to intentions. It's listening to repetition. The morning phone, the constant input, the scroll into sleep, the reward-only dopamine, the harsh inner voice, the collapsed posture, the anxious idle mind. Those aren't personality traits, they're pathways, and pathways can be rebuilt. Pick one, just one, the one that made you feel slightly uncomfortable while listening. That discomfort is your brain telling you where the leverage is. Run that single change for 2 weeks and watch what quietly moves: focus, mood, patience, sleep, the tone of your own thoughts. You don't need a new life. You need a new loop. Which of these 7 felt closest to home for you? Tell me in the comments. I read them, and it helps me shape what comes next. And if you want to go a step deeper, the next video I'd send you to is the one on the morning routine your brain is actually asking for. It pairs with everything we just covered. If this channel helps you think clearer, subscribe and turn on notifications. I publish new practical brain habits every week, and you'll catch them the moment they go live. Your brain is being built right now, whether you're paying attention or not. The only question is who's holding the pen.